Maya Singh had been teaching yoga at Serenity Studio for 8 years, creating a peaceful sanctuary where stressed professionals found inner calm. But when her regular student Amara took a phone call in Arabic during class break, Maya's former life as an FBI linguistic analyst kicked in. What she heard wasn't a conversation about family back home. It was a detailed discussion about the gathering on Friday and bringing the packages to the downtown location. Maya recognized the coded language immediately. She was listening to the final coordination of a terrorist attack. What happened next would prove that sometimes the most dangerous conversations happen in the most peaceful places, and the most unlikely heroes are hiding in plain sight. Maya Singh hadn't always been a yoga instructor. For 15 years, she'd been one of the FBI's most valuable linguistic analysts, specializing in Middle Eastern languages and terrorist communications. Her expertise in Arabic, Farsi, Urdu, and Pashto had made her indispensable for counterterrorism operations across 3 decades. Maya's specialty was semantic pattern analysis, the ability to identify coded language, recognize operational terminology, and decode the subtle linguistic markers that revealed when ordinary conversations were actually terrorist communications. She could listen to a phone call that sounded like 2 people discussing groceries and recognize that they were actually coordinating weapons shipments. Her work had been crucial in preventing dozens of attacks, disrupting terrorist networks, and identifying sleeper cells operating on American soil. Maya had analyzed intercepted communications that prevented bombings, identified the linguistic fingerprints of terrorist recruiters, and helped map the communication networks that connected global extremist organizations. But the constant exposure to humanity's darkest intentions had taken a severe psychological toll. After 15 years of analyzing conversations about murder, destruction, and hatred, Maya found herself unable to trust anyone, unable to relax, and unable to find peace in a world where danger seemed to lurk behind every normal interaction. The breaking point came during the Operation Desert Rose investigation, a 2-year effort to prevent a coordinated series of attacks on American infrastructure. Maya had been analyzing communications from a suspected terrorist cell when she made a crucial discovery. The cell was planning to attack a children's hospital during visiting hours, specifically timing their assault to maximize casualties among families. Maya's linguistic analysis provided the exact timing and location of the planned attack, allowing law enforcement to prevent what would have been a massacre of innocent children and their families. The operation was considered one of the FBI's greatest counterterrorism successes. But for Maya, the victory felt hollow. The casual way the terrorists had discussed murdering children, the clinical planning of maximum suffering, the complete absence of humanity in their communications, it broke something fundamental in her understanding of human nature. "I can't do this anymore," Maya had told her supervisor during their post-operation debrief. "I understand too well how much evil exists in the world. I need to find something pure, something healing, something that reminds me that humans are capable of good." Maya left the FBI with full honors and a commendation for her service, but also with a deep psychological need to immerse herself in a world of peace, compassion, and healing. Yoga had been her salvation, first as a student seeking inner peace, then as an instructor helping others find the same calm that had slowly restored her faith in humanity. Teaching yoga at Serenity Studio had given Maya exactly what she'd been seeking: a daily practice of helping people connect with their better nature, find inner peace, and develop the mindfulness that could make the world a more compassionate place. Maya's classes attracted a diverse mix of Portland professionals, software developers, architects, teachers, healthcare workers, and small business owners, all seeking to balance the stress of modern life with moments of tranquility and self-reflection.
Her teaching style emphasized mindful breathing, present moment awareness, and the kind of deep listening that helps people understand their own thoughts and emotions. Ironically, the same skills that had made Maya an excellent FBI analyst, careful attention to subtle cues, pattern recognition, and the ability to read between the lines, also made her an exceptional yoga instructor. Maya had deliberately created an environment where her past life felt completely irrelevant. Serenity Studio was a place of healing, growth, and peace, the antithesis of everything she'd experienced during her FBI years. For 8 years, Maya had successfully built a new identity centered on helping people find calm and balance. She told herself she was done with analysis, done with suspicion, done with seeing threats and deception in everyday interactions. But some skills are impossible to unlearn, and when someone starts speaking operational Arabic in your yoga studio, 15 years of FBI training doesn't just disappear. Amara Hassan had been attending Maya's Tuesday evening classes for 6 months, presenting herself as a graphic designer who'd moved to Portland from Seattle for better work opportunities. She was soft-spoken, dedicated to her practice, and seemingly focused on using yoga to manage work-related stress. During the class break on that Tuesday evening, Amara stepped outside to take what appeared to be a routine phone call. Maya was arranging props for the second half of class when she heard Amara speaking Arabic through the slightly open studio door. Maya's first instinct was to give Amara privacy. Many of her students took calls in their native languages, and she'd always respected their need for private conversations. But something about the rhythm and tone of Amara's speech triggered Maya's dormant analytical instincts. The cadence wasn't conversational, it was reporting. The emotional tone wasn't personal, it was operational. Maya found herself unconsciously moving closer to the door, her FBI training automatically engaging as she began to parse the Arabic conversation. "The reconnaissance is complete," Amara was saying, in formal military-style Arabic. "All security protocols have been observed and documented." Maya's blood went cold. Reconnaissance, security protocols. This wasn't family conversation or casual chat. This was operational language. "The gathering on Friday will proceed as planned," Amara continued. "All participants have confirmed their readiness. The packages will be delivered to the downtown location during peak hours for maximum impact." Maya recognized the terminology immediately. Coded language for a coordinated attack. Gathering meant the operation itself. Participants were operatives. Packages were weapons or explosives. Downtown location during peak hours meant targeting civilians during the busiest time of day. "Confirmed. The target building has been selected based on symbolic value and casualty potential," Amara concluded. "Allah willing, Friday will mark the beginning of the awakening." Maya realized she was listening to the final coordination of a terrorist attack scheduled for Friday, just 3 days away. Maya faced an impossible choice: maintain her peaceful new life and hope someone else would detect the threat, or return to the world of counterterrorism investigation that had nearly destroyed her mental health. But she also faced a moral imperative that was impossible to ignore. Hundreds of innocent people were going to die on Friday unless someone acted on the intelligence she'd just gathered. Maya understood that she couldn't simply call the FBI and report a conversation she'd overheard. Without context, evidence, or official authority, her claims would be investigated, but might not be acted upon quickly enough to prevent an imminent attack. She needed to gather more intelligence, identify the other members of the cell, and determine the specific target and timing of the planned attack. Maya made a decision that would test every skill she'd learned in 15 years of FBI work. She was going to conduct her own investigation while maintaining her cover as a yoga instructor. After Amara returned to class, Maya observed her with new eyes. The woman she'd thought was a stressed graphic designer was actually demonstrating the hypervigilance and situational awareness of someone with operational training. Amara's yoga practice, Maya now realized, wasn't about stress relief. It was about maintaining physical fitness and mental discipline for operational purposes. During the remainder of class, Maya used her teaching position to gather intelligence. She adjusted poses and provided physical corrections that allowed her to note details she'd previously overlooked. Calluses consistent with weapons handling, a small scar that looked like knife training, and muscle development that suggested regular combat training rather than casual fitness. When class ended, Maya made sure to engage Amara in normal instructor-student conversation while listening for additional linguistic or behavioral cues. "How are you finding the practice?" Maya asked, using her yogic persona to mask her analytical observation. "Very centering," Amara replied, but Maya caught the slight hesitation and formal phrasing that suggested someone speaking carefully in a second language. "It helps me maintain focus for my work projects." The word choice was telling. maintain focus, and work projects could easily be operational language disguised as casual conversation. Over the next 48 hours, Maya conducted surveillance on Amara while maintaining her normal yoga teaching schedule. Using skills from her FBI days, she followed Amara discreetly and documented her activities. What she discovered confirmed her worst fears. Amara was meeting with at least 3 other individuals at locations throughout Portland. Their meetings followed operational security protocols, brief encounters in public places with natural reasons for being there, careful observation for surveillance, and the systematic behavioral patterns that Maya recognized from her counterterrorism training. Maya was able to photograph the other cell members and identify several concerning details. They were conducting surveillance of downtown Portland, specifically focusing on the Federal Building, Pioneer Courthouse Square, and the Max Light Rail stations, all high-value targets with significant symbolic importance and casualty potential. Using her linguistic skills, Maya was able to overhear fragments of additional conversations during a coffee shop meeting. The words she caught confirmed that the attack was imminent. Final preparations, equipment verification, and departure protocols. All operational terminology indicating that the cell was in the execution phase of their plan. But Maya also realized she was dealing with a more sophisticated operation than a simple terrorist attack. The level of planning, the quality of operational security, and the professional behavior of the cell members suggested that they were part of a larger network with significant resources and training. This wasn't a group of local extremists. This was a professional terrorist cell with international connections and advanced capabilities. Maya knew she had to contact law enforcement, but she also knew that her unofficial investigation had potentially compromised her own safety. If the terrorist cell discovered that their yoga instructor was a former FBI analyst who'd been surveilling them, her life would be in immediate danger. Maya made a careful decision about how to approach the authorities. Instead of calling the FBI directly, she contacted Agent Sarah Chen, her former partner in the Linguistics division who now worked counterterrorism operations in the Portland field office. "Sarah, this is Maya Singh. I need to meet with you urgently about an active terrorist threat." "Maya? Jesus, it's been 5 years. What kind of threat?" "A cell operating in Portland. 4 members, Arabic-speaking, planning an attack for this Friday. I have location data, photographs, and recorded conversations." The silence on the other end stretched long enough that Maya wondered if the call had dropped. "Maya, how do you have this information? You're teaching yoga now."
"One of the cell members has been attending my classes. I recognized operational Arabic during a phone conversation and conducted surveillance." "Sarah, they are planning something big for Friday during peak hours downtown. Meet me in 1 hour, Pioneer Place Mall, food court. And, Maya, if you're right about this, you may have just prevented a major attack." Maya's meeting with Agent Chen was professionally awkward, but operationally crucial. Chen had to balance Maya's unofficial status as a civilian with her proven expertise as a former FBI analyst and the urgent nature of the threat. "Show me what you have," Chen said without preamble once they were seated in a corner booth that provided privacy and sightlines. Maya presented her evidence methodically. Photographs of the cell members, locations of their meetings, transcripts of the Arabic conversation she'd overheard, and her analysis of their operational patterns. Chen reviewed the material with the quick efficiency of an experienced counterterrorism agent. "This is solid intelligence," Chen admitted. "But Maya, you've potentially put yourself in extreme danger. If this cell has operational security protocols, they may have detected your surveillance." "I've been careful," Maya replied. "But Sarah, based on their conversations and behavior patterns, I believe they're planning to attack the Federal Building during Friday lunch hour. That's when the plaza has maximum civilian foot traffic." Chen's expression hardened. "How confident are you in that assessment?"
90%. The linguistic markers, the surveillance patterns, the timing references, everything points to a coordinated attack designed for maximum casualties and symbolic impact. "Okay," Chen said, making a decision. "I'm calling in the Joint Terrorism Task Force. But Maya, I need you to maintain your normal schedule and avoid any behavior that might alert the cell. Can you do that?" Maya nodded, understanding that she was being asked to continue functioning as an unwitting surveillance asset while federal agents developed the case. "One more thing," Chen added.
If Amara, or any of the others, approach you directly, if they seem suspicious of your behavior, you call me immediately and get to safety. Understood? Friday morning arrived with an unseasonable chill in Portland, and Maya felt the weight of knowing that somewhere in the city, a terrorist cell was making final preparations for an attack that would kill dozens of innocent people. Maya taught her regular morning classes, while FBI agents positioned themselves throughout downtown Portland, using her intelligence to guide their defensive preparations. But at 10 a.m., Maya received a text message that made her heart skip. Special evening session tonight? I'd like to bring some friends to experience your teaching, Amara. Maya realized immediately that this wasn't a request for yoga instruction. It was operational language. The terrorist cell wanted to meet at her studio, possibly to eliminate the one person who might have overheard their communications. Maya texted Agent Chen immediately. They want to meet at my studio tonight. I think I've been compromised. Chen's response was immediate. We're moving up the timeline. Stay at the studio. Backup will be in position. Maya understood that her yoga studio was about to become the setting for a counterterrorism operation. That evening, Maya prepared her studio for what might be her final yoga class. She arranged the space normally, but positioned herself with clear sightlines to exits and maintained easy access to the emergency communication device that Chen had provided. Amara arrived at 7 p.m. with 3 men Maya recognized from her surveillance photos. They moved through the studio with the casual efficiency of people conducting a security sweep, and Maya realized they weren't here for yoga. They were here to determine whether she represented a threat to their operation. Thank you for accommodating our request, Amara said, her accent now noticeably different from the careful American inflection she'd maintained for months. My friends are very interested in experiencing your teaching methods.
Maya maintained her yoga instructor persona while recognizing that she was facing 4 trained operatives who suspected her of intelligence gathering. Of course, Maya replied calmly. Shall we begin with some breathing exercises? For the next 20 minutes, Maya conducted an actual yoga session while the cell members went through the motions of participating. But she could see them conducting subtle surveillance of her behavior, looking for signs that she understood more than she was revealing. The moment of truth came when one of the men, Maya had identified him as the cell leader during her surveillance, suddenly switched to Arabic and asked Amara a direct question about security protocols for the next day's operation. Maya's training told her to maintain her cover and pretend she didn't understand, but her moral compass told her that playing ignorant while listening to the final details of a terrorist attack made her complicit in the violence they were planning. Maya made a choice that would either save lives or end her own. The federal building has increased security on Fridays, she said in fluent Arabic. You'll need to adjust your approach timing. The silence that followed was complete and dangerous. What happened next unfolded with the swift precision of a counterterrorism operation that had been meticulously planned. Maya's Arabic response had served as a signal to FBI agents positioned around the studio, indicating that the suspected terrorist cell was confirmed and that she had intelligence about their planned target. Within seconds, the studio was surrounded by federal agents who had been monitoring the situation through surveillance equipment Maya had been wearing. FBI, nobody move! The commands came from multiple directions as agents flooded into the studio with tactical precision. The terrorist cell members reacted with trained professionalism, but they were outnumbered and outgunned by agents who had been planning this operation for 48 hours. Maya's linguistic skills proved crucial during the arrests, as she was able to translate the cell members' communications and provide real-time intelligence about their statements. The investigation that followed revealed that Maya had indeed prevented a major terrorist attack. The cell had been planning to detonate explosives at the federal building
during Friday lunch hour, timed to coincide with a protest rally that would have increased the civilian casualty count significantly. Maya's intelligence had not only identified the specific target and timing, but it also provided the evidence needed to arrest the entire cell and seize their weapons before they could carry out their plan. In the weeks following the arrests, Maya found herself back in the world of counterterrorism briefings, threat assessments, and federal investigations. The FBI offered her a position returning to linguistic analysis with a significant promotion and salary increase, but Maya declined. "Agent Chen," she said during her final debriefing, "I've learned something important over the past week. I thought I had to choose between my FBI skills and my yoga practice, between analysis and healing, between fighting darkness and cultivating light. What did you learn? That they're not opposites. The mindfulness and present moment awareness that I teach in yoga made me a better analyst. The pattern recognition and careful listening that I learned at the FBI make me a better teacher. Sometimes protecting peace requires using every skill you have." Maya returned to teaching at Serenity Studio, but with a new understanding of her role. She continued her yoga instruction while also working as a consultant for the FBI's Community Outreach Program, helping to train agents in mindfulness techniques that improved their observational skills and emotional resilience. 6 months after the terrorist cell arrests, Maya's yoga classes had evolved to include students from unusual backgrounds, FBI agents seeking stress management, police officers learning mindfulness techniques, and other first responders who had heard about the instructor who'd used meditation skills to prevent a terrorist attack. Maya had learned that her two careers weren't contradictory, they were complementary. The patience and awareness cultivated through yoga practice enhanced her analytical abilities, while her experience understanding human darkness made her more committed to helping people find light. "The goal of both yoga and counterterrorism work is the same," Maya explained to a journalist writing about her story, "creating safety and peace. Sometimes that means helping someone find inner calm, and sometimes it means stopping people who want to destroy that calm for others." Maya had discovered that true strength comes not from choosing between different aspects of yourself, but from integrating all your capabilities in service of protecting what matters most. 2 years after the terrorist plot, Maya Singh stood in her yoga studio teaching a morning class that included Agent Sarah Chen, several Portland police officers, a federal prosecutor, and Amara Hassan's former neighbor, a woman who had attended the class not knowing that her yoga instructor had prevented her from becoming a victim of the attack that was planned for her office building. During the meditation portion of class, Maya reflected on the strange journey that had brought her from FBI analyst to yoga instructor to the unique position she now occupied, someone who used mindfulness to enhance threat detection and used threat detection skills to protect mindful communities. "Breathe deeply," Maya instructed her students, "and remember that awareness is our greatest protection. When we pay attention to what's happening around us, when we listen carefully to what people are really saying, when we trust our instincts about situations that don't feel right, we create safety not just for ourselves, but for our entire community." Maya had learned that sometimes the most important intelligence work doesn't happen in government buildings or high-tech surveillance centers. Sometimes it happens in yoga studios, when someone trained to recognize danger decides to trust their instincts and act to protect innocent people. Sometimes the most effective counterterrorism tools aren't weapons or technology. They're mindfulness, careful listening, and the courage to take action when something doesn't feel right. Maya Singh had found her calling at the intersection of inner peace and outer vigilance, proving that the skills that help us understand ourselves can also help us protect each other. The yoga studio remained a place of healing and growth, but it was also now a place where people learned that true peace isn't passive. It's actively cultivated and courageously protected by ordinary people who refuse to let darkness overwhelm light. And sometimes the most unlikely heroes are the ones teaching you to breathe deeply and pay attention to the present moment. If this story moved you,
Remember that awareness and mindfulness aren't just personal development tools, they're community safety practices. The people teaching meditation, leading wellness programs, and helping others find inner peace often have incredible backgrounds and skills that make them uniquely qualified to notice when something isn't right. Have you ever trusted your instincts about a situation that felt wrong? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes our gut feelings are our best protection. Where are you watching from today? Drop a comment. And remember, the next time you're in a yoga class, meditation session, or wellness workshop, your instructor might have experiences and abilities that go far beyond teaching poses and breathing techniques.